بنت رسول الله قال سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت دخل علي برسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وسمرة فؤادي فقال يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء فأقبل, فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء قال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وسمرة فؤادي فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معكم تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك فدخل معهما تحت الكساء فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب فقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عم رسول الله فقلت نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء قال له عليك السلام يا أخي ويا وفي وخليفتي وصاحب لواي قد أذنت لك فدخل علي تحت الكساء ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي قد أذنت لك فدخلت تحت الكساء فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ برسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم عدو لمن عاداه ومحب لمن أحبهم إنهم مني وأنا منهم فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرض مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيعة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الثالث هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرأك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيعة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا من وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم رجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني برسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبين إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت به الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي هو الذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبين وفيهم محموم إلا فرج الله حما ولا مغموم إلا كشف الله غما ولا طالب حاجة إلا قضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فاز وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ما شاء الله جل جلاله.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
برای خوشنودی امام زمان بلندتر صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
رخ سے ایک بار کفن اور ہٹا دو بھیا میرے بابا کا مجھے چہرہ دکھا دو بھیا میرے بابا کا مجھے چہرہ دکھا دو بھیا آج بابا جو میرے گھر سے چلے جائیں گے، پھر مجھے شام غریبا میں نظر آئیں گے۔ اتنے دن کیسے گزاروں گی بتا دو بھیا، میرے بابا کا مجھے چہرہ دکھا دو بھیا۔ ہائے شبیر سے زینب نے کہا رو رو کر، سونا لگتا ہے امام کے بنا بابا کا سر، سر پہ بابا کے امامت تو سجا دو بھیا، میرے بابا کا مجھے چہرہ دکھا دو بھیا۔ جیسے اماں کردار میں تھی شفا نانا کی، کیا یہ ممکن ہے کہ اٹھ جائیں میرے بابا بھی؟ میری چادر میرے بابا کو اڑا دو بھیا، میرے بابا کا مجھے چہرہ دکھا دو بھیا۔ غم میں بابا کے تڑپتا ہے ذرا دیکھو تو، دور بیٹھا ہے بلا لاؤ میرے غازی کو، پاس کچھ دیر تو بابا کے بٹھا دو بھیا، میرے بابا کا مجھے چہرہ دکھا دو بھیا۔ خون بابا کی جبیں سے وہ گرا تھا جس پہ، اپنے بابا کی نشانی میں بنا لوں گی اسے، میرے بابا کا مصلی مجھے لا دو بھیا، میرے بابا کا مجھے چہرہ دکھا دو بھیا۔ آ رہی ہوں گی بقیہ سے صدا سن کے میری، سر پہ بابا کے نہ پڑ جائے نظر اماں کی، زخم اماں کی نگاہوں سے چھپا دو بھیا، میرے بابا کا مجھے چہرہ دکھا دو بھیا، میرے بابا کا مجھے चेहरा दिखा दो भैया मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु दरख्वास्त करूँगा शेख शफीकुल हुदा से कि वो आप बाकायदा मजलिस का आगाज़ करें. Just for everybody that after iftar today we're going to have amal for about 30 minutes. They are short amal which are important. So Sheikh has told me that people who want to stay after the iftar will have a short amal. So if you guys want to participate in the amal, please do stay here after iftar for a short 25 minutes to 30 minutes. पर खुशनू दे इमाम ज़माना बुलंद तर सलावत.
الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين خالق السماوات والأرض، إلها واحدا أحدا صمدا لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين رحمة للعالمين طه وياسين بالقاسم محمد. وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين، ورحمة الله على محبيهم ولعنة الله على أعدائهم وقاتليهم وغاصب حقوق حقهم ومنكر فضائلهم أجمعين من يومنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتبارك في كتابه الحكيم وفرقانه المجيد وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. وأما بعد، فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم: القرآن مع علي وعلي مع القرآن. صلاة محمد. Respected sisters and brothers, my youngsters, my elders, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم من مصابنا بأمير المؤمنين عليه الصلاة والسلام. As tonight will mark the Shahadat night of Mawla, we extend condolences to Imam Sahibul Amr, to the family of the Prophet, to the Momineen all over the world on this day of the night of the Shahadat, inshallah. We see that the month of Ramadan al-Sharif is the banquet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We talked about that yesterday. We introduced our subject, our discussion, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us an opportunity to get the forgiveness from Allah, to get the blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to get an increase in our status, in our closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this has been all provided by Allah ta'ala throughout the year that we have been told to do mustahab fasting, to try to keep it. You see, the month of Ramadan, I often, just before the month of Mahi Ramadan had started, I was at the university with some students there conducting a class. And I was telling them, I said that you realize that how when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us an important responsibility, an important opportunity like Mahi Ramadan, He doesn't just throw it at us and say, "Hey, okay, do it now. This is the month of Ramadan. Fast in the month. Prepare yourself." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a very interesting thing that the psychologists and the sociologists today use. और दुनिया की तरीका कार भी इस तरह होता है कि when you look at somebody who wants to prepare for something very important, if somebody is getting ready for the Olympics, if somebody is getting ready for a tournament, somebody has got a very major practice to do, a tournament to do, or take part in, they make sure that before you go to the tournament, before you go to the Olympics, before you go to any of these important competitions, you prepare yourself ahead of time. You prepare yourself, you do the training, you make sure that you are ready for it. The training is taking place over the course of a long, long time. The Olympics are every 4 years, है ना? हर 4 साल के बाद Olympics होते हैं. तो वो दरमियान के जो 3 साल है उसमें वो लोग क्या करते हैं, वो एथलीट्स क्या करते हैं, वो competitors क्या करते हैं? They're just sitting back and doing nothing. You'll say, no, of course, they're training, they are working, they are making sure that their exertion is there, their abilities are there. So during the time that those Olympics go from 1 year to the 4th year, they are still training. Because they know that the Olympics themselves are a very strenuous activity. The competition is very strenuous. And if you don't prepare yourself, you will fail. You will not even get a bronze, you will not even be on the podium, you will get absolutely nothing. So the training provides you an opportunity to be competitive there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just before the month of Ramadan al-Sharif, does the same thing. He prepares us for it. We have got the month of Rajab and we have the month of Sha'ban. We are recommended in those months to do what? To do extra fasting. Roza rakhna bahut mustahab maah Rajab mein aur maah Sha'ban mein. And we have been told that, okay, if you cannot do anything else, at least 3 days in Rajab, 3 days in Sha'ban, at least. And the hadith goes on to mention that somebody wants to show their love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The month of Rajab is known as the month of Allah. Month of Rajab is known as Shahrullah, the month of Allah. Month of Sha'ban is Shahr Rasul, the month of Rasulullah. And the month of Ramadan al-Sharif is known as the Shahrul Ummah, the month of the Ummah. So we are told that if you really want to show your love for Allah, at least one day in the month of Rajab, fast. If you want to show your love to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, at least one day in the month of Sha'ban, fast and show your love to Rasulullah. And so we are told so that what happens is that you are not just given the month of Ramadan and the fasting already, at once. You're told to prepare from Rajab, from Sha'ban. And if you look at the whole year, पूरे साल में ऐसे ऐसे दिन हैं जो 27 है, 28 है, 19 है, 3, 4, 5, 13, 14, 15. ये सब दिनों में, but it is recommended in these days to fast whatever you can. The 3rd, 4th or 5th, 13, 14, 15, 27, 28, 29 of any month. Of course, not Ramadan. Ramadan, you have to fast. But other months, you have to be, you're encouraged to do this. One time, this is narrated in Biharul Anwar, and Sheikh Yasir al-Juburi in his month fasting in the month of Ramadan narrates this very beautifully. One time, Rasulullah was talking to the ashab. He was talking to the companions, and he said, is there any one of you who fasts the entire month? Not talking about Maha Ramadan. Eh? He's talking about other months. Is there any of you who fasts the entire month? Everybody's quiet. So खामोश है. एक उठ कर कहता है अना या रसूलुल्लाह. Salman. People say Salman in Farsi. We'll call him Salman in Muhammad. Yeah? Salman says, Ya Rasulullah, Ana. I fast the whole month. Then Rasulullah asks, is there anybody who stays up the entire night doing ibadat? Sab khamosh hai. Everybody's quiet. Again, Salman raises his hand, Ya Rasulullah, Ana. Rasulullah says, one of the companions, नाम नहीं लूंगा, एक साहब भी थोड़ा सा नाराज हो रहे थे. ये सलमान मुझे कुछ इसको करना है, लेकिन अभी नहीं. Then the Prophet says, is there any one of you who recites the entire Quran and Majid every single day? सब खामोश है. Difficult, I mean, it's difficult to recite the Quran and Majid in the month of Maha Ramadan. If you want to complete the completion of the Quran, one sipara per day, inshallah, in 30 days you'll do it. It takes about an hour and a half each day, but we are busy people, huh? We are busy people. We don't have time to do this, huh? We have got such lives. It's sad. When we realize how busy we are, and we think we are busy, when the time really comes that we're busy and we will need the Quran and Majid, then the Quran and Majid will say, you were too busy for me, so I'm now too busy for you. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Nobody raised it as Salman says, Ana ya Rasulullah. And he was very humble. Salman, Rasulullah had said that if there are 10 levels, then 10 darajat, 10 stages of Iman, Salman is at the 10th stage. This is the Salman we're talking about. कोई और आम बात की नहीं कर रहे. हम सलमान की बात कर रहे हैं. हमारे एक उस्ताद बता रहे थे. He said, Imam Zamana is waiting for 313. Huh?
محمد وآل محمد.
हमारे एक दोस्त बता रहे थे, बहुत प्यारी बात, बहुत प्यारा जुमला इन्होंने कहा था. इमाम इंतजार कर रहे 313 के लिए. 313 जब हो जाएंगे तब zuhur हो जाएगा. This is one of the last conditions. The 313 true believers will be there who will give their lives for the imam, who will be true mu'min. इस मौला को 313 मुसलमान नहीं चाहिए, 313 सलमान चाहिए.
माशाल्लाह.
No 313 मुसलमान, 313 Salman. Then the Imam Zuhur can take. Then we can. So Salman says, Ana ya. Finally, this companion gets up. He says, Ya Rasulullah, jhoot bol rahe. He's lying. Salman is lying. He says, what? I have seen him eat during the daytimes. How can he be fasting when he says he's fasting the whole month? Rasulullah says, okay. He says, I have seen him quiet much of the time. How can he recite the entire Quran and Majid? To read the Quran and Majid takes time, and you have to be there, dedicated to do that. And he says, I have seen him sleeping at night. How can he say he's doing ibadat the entire night? Ya to jhoot bolte, ya to he's lying, or there's something deeper. Remember we were talking about yesterday how Islam is taking us to a higher level. Islam is taking us to a much higher level. Remember, you don't forget what I had said, please. And so here the Prophet says to this companion, he says, Salman, why don't you explain what you are telling? Why did you say yes? He says, how you are fasting? He says, Ya Rasulullah, I fast 3 days in every month. The Quran and Majid in Surah An'am says that anybody who does a good deed, Allah Ta'ala multiplies that good deed by 10 times. So if I fast 3 times, and Allah Ta'ala has promised that 10 times the thawab is there, 10 times the status is there, that 3 multiplies to 30, I get the thawab of the entire month.
MashaAllah.
He says, Ya Rasulullah, you have said that the Quran and Majid you should recite as much as possible on a day-to-day basis. But if you cannot, we have a shortcut. Shortcut. Everybody wants a shortcut to everything, right? Everything is fast. Everything is, getting things done very quickly. They used to have these chargers, these phone chargers and laptop chargers and all these tablet chargers. Now then, as I was going through my chargers and phones over the years, they usually only last for a couple of years. Telephone ka 2 saal se zyada to zindagi hai hi nahi na. Then they told me, now you want a fast charger. As mashallah, instead of 6 or 8 hours, 4 hours your phone will be charged. Now I see something else. Kya bolte hai isko? Super fast charger?
Lightning charge.
Lightning charger, mashallah. I was still on super fast charger. Instead of 8 hours, 2 hours, super fast charger. Now what? 1 hour? Lightning charger is what? You plug it in, it's already charged. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allah Ta'ala gave us a super fast charger way to get to our Quran and Majid's recitation and the thawab. Ya Rasulullah, Salman is telling Ya Rasulullah, he's telling the companions, he says, you have mentioned that whoever recites Surah Tawheed, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid walam yulad, walam yakul lahu kufr. Ya Rasulullah, he says, that is 1/3 of the Quran. I recite Surah Tawheed 3 times, and Allah Ta'ala will give me the thawab of the entire Quran and Majid. और ऐसा प्यारा जुमला रसूलुल्लाह ने कहा था. He says, Salman, you are correct, you are right. He says, the mithal, the example of Surah Tawheed is like the example in my ummah of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Whoever loves Ali with his tongue, he has secured 1/3 of their iman. Whoever loves Ali with their tongue and with their hands, he helps him, they have secured 2/3 of their iman. Whoever loves Ali with their tongue, with their actions, and has the full force with Imam Ali and supports him in his all of his endeavors, they have got complete iman, Ya Salman. Salman, we have seen you sleeping at night. You said you do ibadat the whole night. Jawab dijiye iska. Ya Rasulullah, you told us that anybody who does wudu before they go to sleep, that sleep of theirs becomes ibadat. Their whole night they get thawab. The malaika are giving them ajr. I do wudu every night before I go to sleep. Allah is giving me the thawab of the entire night thawab. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allah Ta'ala gives us so many opportunities. But the problem is we are busy. We don't have the time. We don't make the time. We don't want to do it. You see, one of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us. And I was asking Sayyid, I said, do you think Momineen will remember what I had said last year? He says, Inshallah, I hope they will. I had mentioned one point. जो इस साल नए हैं उनके लिए मैं बता रहा हूँ जो लोग पहले साल हमारे साथ थे याद के लिए ये भी अच्छा है, जिक्र करना भी अच्छा है. I hope you will forgive me. I had said that Allah Ta'ala wants to see effort on our part. कोशिश हमें करनी है. Allah Ta'ala gave Nabi Allah Nuh alayhi salam the order to build the ark. Safina बनाने के लिए इतने हजारों साल तबलीग करते रहे. Nobody was listening to him. Allah Ta'ala tells him to make an ark. A boat. So now if you remember, then you say, oh yeah, I know what you're going to say. Allah Ta'ala is Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. Allah Ta'ala has power over all things. Allah in the blink of an eye, in the blink of a second, not even a second, a millisecond, a gigasecond, or minute portion of a second, Allah Ta'ala can just make an ark there. He can do anything, right? Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. But what happened in the time of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam? Allah Ta'ala told him to make an ark. The problem was, how do you make an ark? The revelation came to Hazrat Nuh, plant the seeds of the tree. 80 साल के बाद ये दरख्त उग गए थे. How many? 80 years later, these trees were now mature. The trees had to be chopped down and new trees had to be planted. You're making a big boat, eh? It's not a choti moti speedboat or paddle boat. You're talking about an ark that will hold 2 of every animal and as many Momineen, as many believers as are going to be on it. So it's not a small boat. That boat would not even fit in Darul Batool. We'll need about maybe 6 or 8, maybe 10 Darul Batools, inshallah. One day you will have that, inshallah. And the Momineen to fill those Darul Batools as well, inshallah. Because कोशिश आप लोग को करनी है ना. इंशाल्लाह कहना आसान है, कोशिश करना मुश्किल है. Plant those trees. Then those trees have to be chopped down. Then they have to be cut into the right shape. They have to be put together. Hazrat Nuh was not an architect. Hazrat Nuh was not a shipbuilder. He was a Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. आप समझने में क्या कहना चाहता हूँ? अगर मैं डिटेल में जाऊंगा तो हमारे इफ्तार यहीं पे हो जाएंगे, ना किसी को मातम करने का मौका मिलेगा, फिर आप लोग मुझे कहीं बुलाएंगे ही नहीं. The point is, दावत तो करेंगे ना दोबारा इंशाल्लाह, मौत से पहले इंशाल्लाह. The point is, मैं बहुत मुख्तसर कर रहा हूँ, that the effort had to be done, all of this. It was not something that happened overnight and the ark was ready. No, it took years and years, decades and decades, in some cases centuries after centuries. एक दो साल की बात नहीं है. Remember, we have been told, Zuhur Imam, when Zuhur Imam takes place, it will not be कि बस आज zuhur हो गए और कल अदलो इंसाफ से दुनिया भर गई. No. 70 years of battle, war, famine, hunger, pyas, thirst, everything. Then there will be adlo insaf. Keep that in mind. So it's not just that it will have there, Allah gives the order and it will be there. Inna Allah ala kulli shayin kun fayakun. No. कोशिश हमें करनी है, कामयाबी उन्हीं के हाथ में. The result is in His hands to judge. The effort has to be ours. And so what we are told is that we have to make an effort. We have to take things seriously. We know that we've been passing our time, whether it is keeping the time, punctuality, making sure that we are attending on time, making sure that we are attending at all, making sure that we are making the preparations for Imam Sahib al-Amr. That is our responsibility, my sisters and brothers. That is our responsibilities, my youngsters and my elders. This is what we will be questioned on. Kamyabi ka fikr mat karna. Don't worry about how successful we are. The effort is what Allah Ta'ala will judge you on.
MashaAllah.
How much effort did you put in? Did you try your best? Or were you lazy? Did you try something? Or did you say, no, there was a very beautiful example given by one of my colleagues. He said that one of the Badshahs, one of the kings, felt that his people loved him very much. कभी जो भी presidents होते हैं, prime ministers होते हैं, जो बादशाह होते हैं, वो हमेशा अपने आप के मोहब्बत के इजहार करते हैं. He's thinking that I am loved very much. Maulanas don't ever think like that. We know how much we are hated. Because our job is like that. We know that what the difficulties and challenges we have. The kings like to think. So the prime minister one day was telling him that, Your Majesty, why don't you do a little test? Why don't you do a little test? Just to show how much your people love you. Tell them all, he had a swimming pool, a pool in the back in his castle, palace. An outdoor pool was there. He told his people, he said, tell your people that tonight, each one of you bring a glass of milk and put it in there. I want to go swimming in a pool of milk tomorrow. So he told all of them, bring a glass of milk, put it inside, and tomorrow morning I'll go and I'll see this pool of milk that I'm going to go swimming in. Okay. So the night passes. One of these people, one of those subjects, is thinking, "Doodh to sab lane wale hai. If I put a glass of water in, nobody will know. The whole pool will be full of milk. My one glass of water, milk is expensive. Even today, milk has gone up in price, mashallah. Mashallah, everything has gone up in price. Fruits, vegetables, dal, chawal, roti, everything has gone up in price. So even milk has gone up in price. I still remember days we used to get it for $2.99. Oh no, you're going to think I'm very old, eh? Maaf kijiye. Now it's what, $5.49, $5.39, depending on where you go. Some places bulk mein aap 3-4 le lo to saste mein mil jayega. The point is, it is expensive and it has always been expensive. So this one man thought, I'll bring a water, everybody else is bringing milk. The next morning, the king and the prime minister, they go to the pool. What do they see? The entire pool is full of water. यानी सिर्फ एक बंदा ने नहीं सोचा था, सब ये सोच रहे थे, कोई और दूध लाएंगे, मेरा पानी मिल जाएगा इसमें. And that's the problem with me and you. We are thinking somebody else will do it. कोई और संभालेंगे. जिम्मेदारी किसी और के हाथ में है. दारुल बतूल तो वो खोलेंगे. मुझे तो कुछ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद. सब पानी लाते हैं, दूध लाने वाले कोई नहीं है. You see what happens to us? Because we always think somebody else will do it. Sisters and brothers, take the responsibility, take the charge. Do what is not being done by somebody else. And you will see the fruits of that, inshallah. When you do it with a sincere intention, with a sincere niyyah, then you will see the results of it yourself. We are lacking behind in many things, my sisters and brothers. And I'm not trying to please be negative. Believe me, I'm telling myself, I'm trying to correct myself. That as a community, we are not doing as much as we need to do. Look at how others are excelling, how others are succeeding, because they've kept a dedication. Keep a small goal, a small target. Other communities that are successful, you know what they do? They start very small. They have one project, one goal. I'll give you an example. Some other communities, like some of these Aga Khanis, some of the Jewish members of the community, what they do is they say, okay, we want to make sure every one of our children gets educated. Everyone will be a university graduate or a college graduate. And they set that as a target. It's a 20, 30-year plan. And then they see after 30 years, they might be dead. They might be gone. It doesn't matter. But the goal has to be there. The goal has to be in place. And they'll see that inshallah within 1 generation, 2 generations, their community is now an educated community. Their community is now in successful areas. You see what we are not doing. How our planning is not there. We are only worried about our mortgages and our loans and our today and what will happen and how will I get a good job today? How will I make my millions today? We don't even think about our future generation or our own children or grandchildren. We only think about ourselves right now. No doubt, there are challenges, there are problems. But what I'm saying is that there has to be some allocation in our minds, in our planning, to make sure that we are doing something that will benefit us and the generation that will come afterwards. A simple example, me and Sayyid Saab were talking about just last night. Imagine for a moment, if I was to die, Maut is barhaq. Nobody will doubt that. They say in Canada, death and taxes are a certainty. Everything else is optional.
MashaAllah.
Tax ki baat kar raha, mashallah kehte ho. You were living right by the border town, so you know what I'm talking about. Death and taxes, death is a haqiqat, it's a reality. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. There is no exception to this. There is no working out of this. Everybody has to. Today I will ask myself and I will ask all of you to ask yourselves, aapka dil mein sawal karke pooch lijiye. What have we made preparations for? If I die today, right now, right here in Darul Batool, will my family be okay? Will they be able to look after the burial costs? Will they have enough money to bury me, bring my body back to Kitchener? Or if I decide to be buried here, have I made allocations to spend that $10,000? What have we done? As a community or as an individual? It was an eye-opener of our discussion yesterday. We had the same problem because a couple of people had passed away in our own city of Kitchener. At that time, लोग समझने लगे, अरे ये $10,000, $12,000 का खर्च कैसे हुआ? I said, cover alone is about $3,000. And then you got the funeral home, then you got other expenses, then you got the burial to be dug, and then you have to cover the grave and all that. We've not thought about that. We think somebody else will do it, you see? Somebody will do it. वाजिब किफ़ाई है ना शेख साहब, वाजिब किफ़ाई कोई ना कोई तो कर लेगा ने. अरे भाई उनके पास $10,000 होगा, उनके पास $12,000 होगा to bury me. And if that is the case, then I will be questioned on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Shafiq Sahab, why did you not do your own thing? In ahsantum li anfusikum. That was your responsibility. Your responsibility. Your children's responsibility. Do they have enough? Do I have a policy in place for them to have that? What have I done? What will we do? What will we answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are we going to put our burden on somebody else? Aap sambalo. This is not going to work, my dear brothers. We will be accountable, we will be questioned, and we can be punished for that, for not planning ourselves. We are told you maut is a barhaq, we are told you maut is a reality, death is a reality, we have told you that. Every time I go to a mayat and I'm reciting the talqeen, in the middle of the talqeen or after the talqeen or before the talqeen, I remind myself and the Momineen. He says that you are telling that marhum, Innal mawta haqqun, wa siratun haqqun, wa qubur haqqun, wa mizan haqqun. You're telling that marhum or the marhuma that maut is haqq. अरे भाई वो तो मर गया है बेचारा, वो तो मर गई बेचारी है, उनको क्या कहना है कि मौत हक है? She already knows, he already knows maut is haq. The message is for me,
MashaAllah.
not for them. They already know maut is haq. What have I done to put into place maut haq? You see, Islam has given us so many opportunities, so many chances. And this is while we are alive and while we're able to, while we're awake. Bedar ho jaiye mere bhai, mere maa behno. This is a moment and an opportunity for us that today, does our family know? Have we had a talk with them? What we want done? I remember the first time that I was sitting down with my children and I was telling them that please make sure this is done, make sure this is carefully, this is there, my kafan is over here, my this is there. You know, by Sayyid Saab told me something very interesting. We think we've done our intizam. We've done our preparations. We went to Karbala, we paid $7 for a kafan, we brought it here, Begum ko bata diya, Begum ne hamiya ko bata diya, this is my kafan, when I die, bhai, theek hai, kafan tayar hai. What else is there? बस कफन पहनाना है क्या? घर में दफन करना है? बैकयार्ड में दफन करना है? What are you going to do? What am I going to do? And I sat down and the kids had tears in their eyes. I said, why do you have tears in your eyes? He said, Baba, we don't want to think about you dying. I said, yes, but then you will have to think about it and you have to face it. I'd rather you have the tears at that time and all the intizam and the preparations are ready than to have tears now. Because you see, writing a will is very critical, very important. People say, मेरे पास कुछ है ही नहीं तो वसीयत क्यों करूं मैं? मेरे पास कुछ है ही नहीं वसीयत क्यों करूं? And this argument is probably the most flawed argument for laziness. I'm talking about me. आपकी बात है. I'm a procrastinator. Even in school, youngsters, please close your ears. Even in school, they would give us 2 months to do a report, 2 weeks to do an essay, 2 weeks to do a book review. I would wait till 48 hours before. Procrastinator. And sadly, we as a community are a procrastinator in this as well. Because you know, when you think about having a will for people who have got millions of dollars, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, they've got 2 or 3 houses, aisi koi baat nahi hai. Imam Khomeini, Allah Makam, his will was 30 pages long. But dunyavi possessions, he had 1 musalla, 1 Quran and 1 table. He was living in his brother's house. His will was 30 pages long. Bhai, 30 safe ki wasiyatnama. Ayatullah Mar'ashi Najafi, the one of the Maraja who did not even do Hajj. He was so poor, he did not even do Hajj. He was a great Maraj. I think we used to do Namaz al-Jamaat. 10,000 people would be doing Namaz al-Jamaat behind him in the Sahn of Hazrat Masumai Kum, in the city of Kum. His will, page after page after page. Don't think a wasiyat is your division of assets. It's nothing like that. Your wasiyat is your Khuda Hafiz message to the family and to the rest of the world.
MashaAllah.
It's a Khuda Hafiz message. What do you want to tell everybody? Make sure, I mean, in your lifetime, you should have already apologized to people you've hurt. That is our dunyavi responsibility. But in case I missed somebody or somebody had moved or mauka nahi mila tha, uska WhatsApp number mere paas nahi tha, at least in the will, to minimum Tell my son, okay, please go and apologize to so and so. I spoke bad about him. I did something bad to him. I swore at him. It's a message. This is where our preparation isn't full. We need to sit down and allocate as soon as possible. There's a movement, actually a group in the kitchen. I don't know if you have this here in Windsor or not. I'm sure you do. It's called Conversations Worth Having. Even if you're not dead, what if I get paralyzed? What if I have Alzheimer's? What if I get dementia? How will anybody know what to do for me? What they want. One of my interfaith colleagues, a lady, she's a Catholic, she was telling me that her mother had written in her living will, it's called living will, she had written in her living will that if I get dementia, if I get Alzheimer's, or if this happens to me, make sure when I'm in the nursing home or if I'm under care, whenever I'm eating alone in my own room. So she says, why? She says, I'll tell you, you'll find out after. जब ये हो गया, जो वाकई हो गया, whenever she would eat, this old lady, the elderly lady, the mother of this Catholic lady who is my interfaith colleague, हमारी committee here. So she was my committee member. She was telling me her mother. What was the reason? Because when she would eat, because of the illness, the food would droop and people would think that that's disgusting. And she didn't want to be with other people seeing that and feeling, abhorred at that. This is something that we need to think about. We are the community of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad alayhimu salatu wasalam. We should be at the forefront of planning. We should be at the forefront of preparation. But this is where we are lacking ourselves. And so we need to really take charge and make sure that we are ready. I have taken a lot of your time today. Do forgive me, inshallah. But this was something that was important enough for me to change my direction and mention. The month of Ramadan, the month of Ibadat, the month of Quran and Majid, the month of Dhikr and Dua. Keep a little bit of time aside for our own families to be aware of what to do. Believe me, I can tell you shocking facts. Just before Maha Ramadan, the last talqeen that I recited was of my cousin, 36 years of age. Just came home from the gym, had his iftar, was about to relax, collapses. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Did he know that he will not make it to the Amal night? Did he know that he will not finish Maha Ramadan? We take it for granted. I'll be here on the Amal night. I'll be here on the 21st Raat hai. The 21st Raat bhi aa rahi hai, one of the most blessed nights of the year. Will I make it? Do I know? Is there a guarantee? Did Hazrat Malakul Maut come and tell me, Shafiq Sahib, don't worry, you will be there? No, there's no guarantee of anything. 36-year-old. No health condition. No known medical issues. Comes and collapses. There's countless examples. This is just one example. Countless examples. You go to any cemetery, you go to any qabristan, you'll see what I'm talking about. Let us be prepared so that we don't have a shock. Or our family is not shocked. Our near ones and our dear ones are not shocked. Our community doesn't get shocked. Do I want somebody to be cursing me? कि इन्होंने कुछ तैयारी भी नहीं की, इन्होंने कुछ रकम भी नहीं रखा था, इन्होंने कुछ इंतजाम भी नहीं किया था. Do I want somebody to be saying that when I'm in my grave, when I'm going to be needing everybody's du'as? And my own family or my community saying that he's put a burden on us, he's gone. Now how will we come up with this? Please, my sisters and brothers, please, I urge the management of Dar al-Batool, right as soon as you can after the month of Maha Ramadan is over, inshallah, may Allah give us health and life until then. Keep a seminar on Mayyat, Ghusl, Kafan, how to give the shawling, how to give it, and make some sort of a preparation, whether it is in our own life insurance policies, taking out another policy, making sure that there is that consideration that if something happens to me, there's no burden that is a rock that falls on my family or my community. The Ahlul Bayt always told us to be prepared at every moment. This is why yesterday in the Majlis I mentioned that when Mawla was struck by Mal'oon ibn Muljim's sword, Mawla ka jumla kya the? Fuztu wa Rabbil Kaaba. I swear by the Lord of the Kaaba, I have succeeded. What Mawla defines as success, La ilaha illallah, was the return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are we ready to return back to Allah? Have we made the preparations? Have we done whatever we need to do? What we need to do, not what we want to do, what we need to do for our barzakh and for our akhirah. Asadan Imam, the same Imam says, the same Imam has been quoted as saying that when people go on a journey, जब आम सफर के लिए जाते हैं, यहाँ से आपको टोरंटो जाना है, यहाँ से पिकरिंग जाना है, यहाँ से ऑटवा जाना है, इंतजाम करते हो, तैयारियां करते हो, वाटर के बॉटल्स भी रखते हो, पानी के बॉटल्स भी रखते हो, इंतजाम खाने का भी होता है. ऐसा ना हो कि रास्ते में भूख लग जाए, प्यास लग जाए, हमको रोकना पड़े, ये करना पड़े, वो करना पड़े. ये छोटी दुनियावी सफर के लिए इतने इंतजाम करते हैं. मौला कहते हैं कि आखिरत के सफर के लिए क्या इंतजाम मोमिन कर रहा है. A man comes to Imam Hassan. Imam Hassan के दस्तरखान हमेशा भरा हुआ रहता था. Imam's dinner table was always there. A fakir, a garib, a poor man comes to the Imam. He says, I need some food. I want to eat some food. Imam says, come to my dinner table. The whole dastarkhan, the dinner table, the dinner place is laid down. The man is eating food. Lekin Imam Hassan ajeeb manzar dekhte hain. Imam Hassan looks at this man. The man is eating a little bit of food and he's keeping a little bit on the side. He's taking one bite and he's keeping some on the side. Imam Hassan says, Ki ya banda-e Khuda, e banda-e Khuda, O servant of Allah, please don't worry. You finish eating, I will give you some food for your family. I will give you some food to take with you. Aur bhi khana mein dunga aapke कराबतदारों के लिए. ये फिक्र मत करो, इस तरह साइड में मत रखना. बंदा क्या जवाब देते हैं? The fakir says to the Imam, he says, it is not for my family, this is not for me. In the masjid of Kufa, there is somebody more gharib than me, there is somebody more poor than me. When he is eating his food, the bread is so hard that he has to crack it on his knee. He is dipping it in water and he is eating that and taking the food for that fakir, for that gharib. Imam Hassan के आंखों में आंसू आ गए. बंदा खुदा, वो कोई फकीर नहीं है, वो कोई गरीब नहीं है, वो मेरे बाबा अली. That is my father Ali, the Khalifa of the Muslims, the Khalifatul Muslimin. That is not some Gharib. After the Shahadat of Mawla, there is a man who comes near Masjid Kufa. He is walking around but walking with great difficulty. Imam Hassan goes and greets him. He says, I am blind. He says, I am blind but I have a problem. Imam Hassan says, what is your problem? He says, every night, almost every night in Mahr Ramadan and in other times, a man would come and sit down with me. He would come and sit and eat with me. 3 दिन हो गए, वो बंदा आकर ना मेरे साथ खेलता है, ना मेरे साथ बात करता है, ना मुझे खाना खिलाता है. मैं खैरियत मालूम करना चाहता हूँ कि क्या हो गया है, क्या हुआ है. इमाम हसन की आंखों में आंसू आ गए. ए नबीना, ए आदमी, बंदा खुदा, वो मेरे बाबा अली थे. अली को मारा गया, अली को शहीद किया गया. अब से कोई भी तुम्हारे पास आकर बातें नहीं करेगा, खाना नहीं खिला. मौला अली शहीद. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. ماتم علي. يا حسين 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 مرتضى يا حسين 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 يا حسين
अर्ज़ व समा का ज़र्रा ज़र्रा उदास है. 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 अर्ज़ ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ خدا سے ہے. قتل علی ولی پہ قتل علی ولی پہ اللہ اداس ہے. ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے. ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے. قتل علی ولی پہ قتل علی ولی پہ اللہ اداس ہے. ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے. ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے. بسم اللہ کا جب نکتا رنگی ہوا لہو سے. بسم اللہ کا جب نکتا رنگی ہوا لہو سے. نہج البلاغہ کا نہج البلاغہ کا خطبہ اداس ہے. ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ 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 اداس ہے. ہوئی نماز لوگوں رنگی ہوا مسلح. ہوئی نماز لوگوں رنگی ہوا مسلح. قرآن رو رہا ہے قرآن رو رہا ہے. کعبہ اداس ہے. ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ 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 اداس ہے. قتل علی ولی پہ قتل علی ولی پہ اللہ اداس ہے. ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے. ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے. پڑھیں ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے. ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے. بسم اللہ کا جب رکتا رنگی ہوا لہو سے. بسم اللہ کا جب رکتا رنگی ہوا لہو سے. نہج البلاغہ کا نہج البلاغہ کا خطبہ اداس ہے. ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ 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 اداس ہے. ہوئی نماز لوگوں رنگی ہوا مسلح. ہوئی نماز لوگوں رنگی ہوا مسلح. سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے ویران ہو گیا ہے گھر فاطمہ کا سارا ویران ہو گیا ہے گھر فاطمہ کا سارا روح نبی ہے روتی روح نبی ہے روتی زارا اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ 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 اداس ہے قتل علی ولی پہ قتل علی ولی پہ اللہ اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے ویران ہو گیا ہے گھر فاطمہ کا سارا ویران ہو گیا ہے گھر فاطمہ کا سارا روح نبی ہے روتی روح نبی ہے روتی زہرا اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ 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 اداس ہے بسم اللہ کا جب نکتا رنگی ہوا لہو سے بسم اللہ کا جب نکتا رنگی ہوا لہو سے نہج البلاغہ کا نہج البلاغہ کا خطبہ اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے ہوئی نماز لوگوں رنگی ہوا مسلح ہوئی نماز لوگوں رنگی ہوا مسلح قرآن رو رہا ہے قرآن رو رہا ہے کعبہ اداس ہے ارض و سما کا ذرہ ذرہ اداس ہے ارض و سما کا یا حسین یا حسین
مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین
یا حسین
وہ عابد بیمار تھا وہ چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا اور شام کا بازار تھا
اور شام کا بازار تھا اور مصطفیٰ کی بیٹیاں مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین پیاسے گلے خنجر چلے پیاسے گلے خنجر چلے چادر چھنی خیمے جلے چادر چھنی خیمے جلے عباس کے پرچم تلے عباس کے پرچم تلے رو کر کہیں یہ بیبیاں مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد